This is Hauling Success, a podcast that focuses on operational excellence in logistics, diving into the real-world strategies, tools, and insights that help transportation and trucking companies run smarter, grow stronger, and scale with confidence.
Welcome to Hauling Success. My name is Pam Polyak, and today we are sponsored by Amos TMS. And we have a wonderful guest, Mr. Brad Herda, joining us today. Brad is a passionate supporter of the people who build, fix, and create with their hands the blue-collar workforce. As the founder of Vision Forward Business Solutions and co-host to the Top 1%, my dream, ranked blue-collar PS podcast. Brad's mission is to make life better for 100,000 blue-collar families by helping business owners simplify leadership, build stronger teams, and take control of their futures. He's not your typical business guy. Brad brings a no BS, totally my style, straight to the point style that resonates with the shop floor to the boardroom. With over 2 decades of experience in leadership and operations, he cuts through the noise and delivers practical strategies that work in the real world. Welcome to Hauling Success, Brad. How you doing today?
I am wonderful. Thank you for having me, Miss Pamela. We appreciate the opportunity.
Well, great, because I appreciate it just as much as you did. We're gonna get into it very quickly though, because we have lots to get through today. In full disclosure, Brad is my business coach. However, he is not getting paid to do this segment. He's doing this out of the goodness and kindness of his heart. But definitely felt the need to say that. Oh, you didn't know you weren't getting paid for this?
Oh,
invoices in the mail?
This is non-billable time? Okay, got it.
Oh, shoot. Dang it. Okay, sorry. Probably should have discussed that beforehand, right?
You know it. I whatever. I don't care. It's all good.
I know. All right. Let's talk about you first, right?
Ooh.
Favorite topic.
For those who don't, that's my least favorite topic. You know this.
I know, but it makes that little awkward turtle thing that people do. Like that's you when you talk about yourself, but that's okay. I just want the audience to know what led you into business coaching and manufacturing, because your goal and your purpose is primarily blue collar style and people and companies. Manufacturing leadership obviously fits into the trucking realm of things. So just tell us a little bit about your journey that led you into where you are at right now.
Was always in manufacturing once I got out of school. So my education is operations management and finance, but my practical stuff is always curiosity on the floor, learning about the closed die Ford shop. How do we make things? How do we heat steel? How do we heat treat it? How do we move molten metal and make it into something that's really cool and exciting is always fun. And then I left there to go to a mining equipment manufacturer, Bucyrus International, which was then acquired by Caterpillar, and making the largest earth-moving equipment on the planet is really cool. And shipping, 240,000-pound weldments and 67-foot booms and all the things you got to do and move pieces from nuts and bolts to the things that large are exhilarating and fun. And it's always interesting when you have to cut a weldment apart because they didn't check the center of gravity on the rail car properly, and it wasn't going to make it through a tunnel. So that's always fun. So I get to learn a lot. I learned a lot of things throughout my career at many different places and blessed with great leaders, and been doing what I've been doing since 2004 with teams internally, and then went out on my own in 2016. So we're coming up on a 10-year anniversary here.
Yay. And I get to reap the benefits of all that experience being my business coach as well. So definitely appreciate the journey. For sure. So, all right, let's get into some nitty gritty questions. What is the most common mistake you see owners of blue collar companies making today when it comes to leading people?
They're not leading, they're telling.
Ooh, that's a really good one. That's a really good one. Because I think it's so the conversation isn't there. It's just blatantly saying, I expect you to do this.
Do this, do that. No why behind it. No, right? As we are entering into having 5 generations in the workforce here very soon. Each generation has its own purpose and its own meaning as the way it works differently. And leaders need to be able to adapt to those behaviors, those people, what's expected across the generations. I could tell you can go tell a boomer to go do something. It's his job. They're going to do it. They might grumble and bitch and complain as they leave to go do it, but they're going to go do it. A 20-year-old kid is going to sit there and ask you, well, why do I have to do that? Why can't he do that? And then you get into a fight over it. But if you explain the why and be a leader as to explain what winning looks like, it gets rid of a lot of that confusion. Everybody knows the same thing. They hear the same story. It's not, I told George this and I told Aaron that. And now you get conflicting stories.
Yeah. So as a leader, you have to know who your audience is and what type of style they prefer, especially when it comes from generational stuff. You do a lot of work in that generational field. And obviously being in
Correct.
trucking, I have everything from a 90-year-old driver to a 24-year-old driver. So there's a huge separation in terms of communication styles and that kind of stuff. So being a
Right.
leader
And
in
your
that,
9-year-old driver is going to be happy as a client. Okay, great. I'm going to go do this. No problem. They're not really going to ask you a lot of questions as to why. Your 24-year-old driver might say, why do I need to be there at 6 instead of 5 like they told me to originally?
does it make you want to cringe? Is it fair that I just cringed a little bit at the idea of always needing to say why? Like, it doesn't matter why. I just told you to do it. So I guess maybe I follow in that leadership style a little bit of just that.
Correct. And as owners, there's all the things that are going on in your brains and your heads and the things that you all have to do. But setting the expectation and letting people know is really important so they all know what winning looks like. And I don't know where your next question is going.
Uh-oh.
But maybe I'm going to jump the route here. But one of the things that we work with and try to get people to understand is what are the questions that you would ask? What are your criteria? What's your decision-making criteria? So that your staff and team members know how you think or how you want decisions to be made. So when I had my procurement team, we cared about safety was first, quality was second, delivery was third, price was fourth. So my procurement team, if it impacted safety negatively, we weren't going to do it. If it impacted quality negatively, we weren't going to do it. If it impacted delivery negatively, we're not, right? We had a decision tree to be able to go forward with that, which helps explain a lot of those whys. But if you create the decision tree and communicate that and get your people to live by that same decision tree, 90% of your problems will go away when decisions need to be made.
When you say decision tree, are you talking like core values of the company?
No, how you make decisions, sort of how we laid out your dispatch decision, right? Here's your dispatch piece. When you go and figure out how to play the game of Tetris, you have 4 or 5 things in your mind that you're looking at, right? And they're in your head, but is your dispatcher thinking in the same way that you are? So if he's thinking down those same 4 or 5 questions to start, when he comes and asks you the question of, hey, Pam, what should I do? He's already done those 3 or 4 things, and it goes quicker and faster. And 80% of the problems are solved when he answers those 4 questions.
So would you suggest that the decision tree be discussed as even part of training when you're hiring somebody?
Yes.
Yes, that was a big yes. To be honest, I don't know that we've ever discussed that before.
Not directly, but it's that we've touched on it. We've not necessarily directly gone through it because, your dispatch and
my life keeps lifing over here.
Correct.
Yeah, but I get from all intents and purposes, there's obviously a huge emphasis on taking care of the customer. There's a huge emphasis on safety. Those are, I would say, 100% some of those core values that we need to make those decisions off of. Is everybody safe doing it? And is this what the customer needs or wants? Are we able to get to that end result?
Yeah. Are they safe? Is it safe? Is it legal? Do you have the hours?
Yep.
And does it impact the customer positively or negatively? And then are we going to lose money or make money?
Well, and the money part's obviously a factor. However, I even told, and anybody who follows kind of our stories, Polyak, is that I have a new dispatcher in that I've only been working with less than 6 months. And so I didn't even teach him the financial aspect of decision making until probably the last 30 days of like, what is the cause and effect of the financial stuff. It was taking care of the customers. These are the parameters. These are the hours that need to be delivered. This is the type of equipment, whatever it is. So I guess I unofficially do it, but I guess I don't
Correct.
normally formally put it out there. Would you suggest formally putting it out there?
Yes.
So people so that they have that roadmap?
Right. Because your driver should make that same. Your decision as a driver on the road might be slightly different than your dispatcher. It may change sequence a little bit because of what's happening in the current situation that they may be in. But yes, ultimately it should be. This is how we make decisions here at our organization. This is
Well,
my
this
expectation.
podcast wasn't intended to be a to-do list for Pam, but I guess we'll have to write it down, and hopefully the audience is too, because I'll just add that to my to-do list of shenanigans. So that's good though. I mean, it keeps the motivation going and understanding where the goal is and focus. I mean, it makes sense. And like I said, I think I'm unofficially doing it, but I don't know
Correct.
that
You
I
are.
had it out there.
We haven't formalized it, but you were working on it, and everything everything gets to the right time, like a fine wine. Everything comes up at the right moments.
Perfect. All right. Well, staying on the same path though, next question. Many trucking companies say young people just don't want to work anymore. Now, I've got young drivers, and for the first time ever, I have 2 people in my office actually almost 3, who are nearly half my age. So, from your perspective, is that actually true that they don't really want to work, or are they simply motivated in a different way?
The answer ultimately is it depends, right? And I've had a lot of postings out last few weeks on this same topic. And it's created a lot of controversy because it's coming down to personal accountability. It's coming down to parenting. It's coming down to expectation set. It's a lot of different things. But in general, um, they work differently. Gen Z works differently than millennials and Xers and boomers. Um, they want to know the why. They don't want to sit around and waste their time doing nothing. So if you've got a 4-hour job that you need to be there for 8 hours, it's going to drive them bat crazy, and
Yeah.
they're going to leave very quickly. But there are others that just don't have the motivation because they don't need to. We're competing. The workforce is competing for talent in a different way than it ever has, because today we can make dollars and cents way differently than just going to get a job and working 9 to 5. We can go work Amazon for 3 hours a day. We can go do DoorDash. We can go do Uber. We can go do lots of different part-time gigs all over the
I feel like there's a
place.
huge entrepreneurial spark to that.
Correct.
I feel like since COVID, the idea, and this is just kind of my own, there's zero scientific fact behind this, beyond my own brain, saying that like since COVID, I feel like there's been a much bigger push to spend more time with family and friends and doing more of an entrepreneurial thing, whether it is the YouTubing and that kind of stuff. Obviously, that's big in the US more than any other country. I believe there's facts on that one. However, I struggle, right? Because from a truck driving standpoint, we still have to get 70 hours out of them, or we want to get 70 hours out of them. We want to be running the truck, especially us being local. I want to run the truck 20 to 23 hours a day.
Correct.
Flip seating trucks, that kind of stuff. So in order to maximize capacity, I need people who are willing to put in 10 to 14 hours a day. And that's normal for a truck driver, which is drastically different than somebody complaining about 8 hours in the office being too long. So it's a different world, but it's a huge push to try and keep those young people motivated. And now as an industry, we're having issues keeping drivers, and they either want to be local, they want to be home every day, they don't want to be overnight. So obviously there are OTR drivers, and there are people who have no interest in being home, but there seem to be a lot less nowadays from our end, at least.
Well, because we've again, your industry as well as many industries in the manufacturing, construction, trades world, we made it unattractive. We made it, oh, you're just a truck driver. No, you're not just a truck driver. You're the person that's getting goods across this world so I can actually go out to dinner or do whatever or get whatever. That whole piece of how things just magically show up instantaneously in today's world is lost.
Yeah.
It is not understood. It is not recognized because our heads are in our phones all the time and we're not paying attention think about all the things when you went on summer vacation as a kid, going up north in the car. You either slept, fought with your siblings, or you figured out a way to
You
pass the
played the
time,
ABC game.
or you start playing license plate games or looking for
Yes.
things or going, hey, how did that
I
happen?
spy with my little eye.
Or punch bug or whatever, right? I mean,
Yes.
you did
Yes.
things to pay attention to what was going on to create context. That
Oh,
context and understanding isn't there anymore because we're growing. Children have grown up differently. They're growing up differently.
that makes me honestly, my gut reaction is it makes me just go, oh, like, oh, we missed it. We missed the boat. I miss those days. I do feel like they've just passed by so quickly and things have changed so drastically. But
Because I can sit on my iPad or my phone for 3 hours going up north and never look up once to see a bridge being constructed, road construction happening, trucks, the logos or the company names that are on the back of the trucks, all the things go, oh, well, hey, oh, okay, cool. I mean,
I
all of
did.
that advertising, all that stuff is not even paid attention to anymore.
That's true because I did notice a huge difference when my daughter just recently become of age where she could sit in the front seat. And so when she sits in the front seat, there is a lot more engaging, a lot more, hey, did you see that? Hey, did you, whatever it was. There is a lot more attention that she's paying to things. So 100%, I think you're right on that. Yeah, it's crazy to actually think about, especially being a truck driver. It's like if you're distracted by your phone, by the tablet, by pinging, by watching a YouTube video, all these things that you could be distracted by, but I hope you're not. I mean, that's also a safety concern too. So
Right.
crazy. All right, next question. How should a supervisor, so let's go with dispatcher slash supervisor, either way, communicate differently with a 22-year-old driver compared to somebody who's been doing this for 45 years?
Again, the answer is it depends. So, what's the situation at hand? What's the urgency? What's the opportunity? Right? Is it if the we're going to assume the dispatcher is older, is going to be in the middle between the other two individuals, right?
Yeah.
Is that a fair assumption?
Yeah.
So the dispatcher to the older driver may not feel as though they're in an authority position. So understanding that driver that they might be talking to or whatever could be very pissed off at them because they're having to deliver bad news, and not come at it with a "I'm the boss, I'm going to tell you what to do" type
Mhm.
scenario could be very
Yeah.
important, to understand that relationship. Because if the driver isn't respecting that older driver isn't respecting the dispatcher, you've got a problem to begin with there to work
Yep.
through. On the younger driver's side, if you're going to be delivering some news, start with the why and understand and what does this look like, and it might be a social conversation to start potentially and develop what's there, again depending upon their own individual personal behaviors. I know many older folks that they just want to be your friend all the time, and they're just talking, and you got things to do and they'll just waste a half an hour. But if you're
Actually,
delivering that news, you need to do that sometimes.
I have a wonderful example about this that actually just happened. So yesterday, I have a big whiteboard in my office on this wall that nobody can see right now. But it's got a lot of numbers and figures on it and that kind of stuff.
Does it say
Anybody
make phone calls on there yet?
Hmm. Let's not talk about that right now. No, but it's got a lot of our goals. We just had a huge move. We have got some financial numbers going on that I'm just kind of got goals and things like that. And when we moved, I had the safety meeting with the drivers talking about what the goals were, what the potential cost savings would look like when cash flow would start flowing again. I'm a very open book to my team as it relates to numbers. However, one of my older drivers came in. I don't exactly know off the top of my head exactly how old, but I would say probably 10. He's got probably 10 or to 15 years on me. He's very
So
good at
like me.
challenge.
So like me.
Yeah.
So he's old like me is what you're trying to tell me. Is that what you're trying to tell me, Pam?
Let's not go there. um, he's very good at challenging me. He does it in every safety meeting without a doubt. He raises his hand and asks me some level of challenging question, and I know that it's coming. And some of the guys give him crap for it. I've given him crap for it, but it is what it is. I'm used to it now. I'm good with it. And he came in asking right away about the numbers. And he had said, well, he started off by asking when's the next safety meeting. I said, well, we'll have it again, in October, like we normally do. I do twice a year safety meetings, full company safety meetings. And so he asked me, and he was trying to challenge me on some of the numbers. Bottom line is, although without him saying it, I knew flat out he was looking for what the raise and the bonuses were going to be. And so I said, look behind you. I said, this is where we're at right now. This is what this number is. This is what that is. This is June for the first time in months was very profitable for us. Well, very is a rough word, but it's profitable for us. If we keep on track doing that, this is what it's going to look like.
When we keep on track doing that?
Yes, when. Oh, yeah, just in case anybody would like to know just a little tidbit about Mr. Brad Herda here. He is the when guy. What's what we are choosing to call him. You are not allowed to say if. You need to say when and speak it into existence. So he does a very good job of calling that out every time I do that, but it does make you very aware of it. So when we continue on the right path and when we continue to balance the cash flow a little bit nicer is what I was needing to explain to him. Took it very well. I said we're right on track to what I was projecting. We were going to be at all these other things. And he does it it wasn't a bad conversation by any means. And he knows he's worked for me for 5, 6, 7 years, whatever it's been. So he knows that I'm an open book to having those conversations. But I found it very interesting that happened yesterday. And then on the flip side, this morning, a driver came in and just was like, I just wanted to tell you that I love you. You're doing a great job. We got this under control. And I was like, okay. And he goes, and then he goes, he said something about wanting to come in. He goes, he just made a joke about dispatching and, I could dispatch the trucks. And why don't you pay me $1,000 a day to do it? And I was like, look at the board behind you. Do you see that number? And all he did was turn around and he grabbed the marker and turned the negative and put a positive sign with it. I walked away and I was like, but he is, I don't even know that he's 30 yet, rough guess. So again, kind of the same situation where one's a little bit more challenging, wanting to know the numbers, wanting to know that we're on track to where we are, a little bit more fact-based versus another one who is a little bit more feeling-based and a little bit more like, hey, we're good. We're just going to change the number around. Everything's fine. From a positive to a negative, or from a negative to a positive, everything's good. So,
right. And for a good dispatcher, dispatcher has to be able to read people very well so they can understand what's going on and know when to call and talk to a driver, right? If you have all the tools available to you to know that your driver's 15 minutes away from being where they're supposed to be, driving through city streets, don't call them and ask them, hey, when do you think you're going to be out of there? Because they're watching traffic. They're doing things. They're paying attention to the other morons
100%.
that are out there, right? Hey, but they're driving down the highway for 3 hours with really not, right, just on cruise control. Yes, it's not always easy, but that would be the time to talk to them.
Yes, 100%. 100%. All right, switching gears just a little bit. There is right now in the transportation industry a lot of retention issues. The idea of, are we in a driver shortage officially now, which there's a huge argument that says no. We are having a lot of conversations industry-wide about having qualified drivers versus non-qualified, fraudulent drivers, fake drivers, that kind of stuff. And so the retention conversation starts coming up strong now in terms of what can we do as business owners to retain the good drivers that we have, right? So if you are coaching, right, you, Mr. Brad Herda, are going to coach a 25 truck carrier fleet, right, mine, struggling with the turnover of, let's go as high as the bottom 75% is turning over. What are the first 3 things you'd tell them to change?
Ooh,
maybe I should have asked.
I wasn't expecting this question to come out. This would have been a good prep question, Pam.
Sorry.
No, but so turnover happens typically because there's not clarity.
Okay.
Right? Clarity. So whether
clarity on direction of the company or clarity on
the potential, what is this job, what the job is, what are the expectations.
I would even say clarity on dispatch too. I would make that argument. Like, hey, my dispatcher sent me here and
right,
it's not right or whatever.
I'm getting things all over the place. I was supposed to pick up A, and now they tell me to pick up B. And yes, things happen, but maybe if it's somebody new to industry, a newer driver just came out, trained, whatever, they may not understand that manufacturing and things and the things you're picking up change on a dime, right? And if it's just not the explanation and creating the clarity of the conversation, the chaos creates the anxiety, and then I don't want to deal with this because, as we talked about earlier, you're competing against so many other things to be able, right? If you can go to McDonald's to make $18 to $22 an hour,
And your biggest responsibility is mopping the floor.
right now, is that fulfilling? Is that self-worth? Is that all those other things? It's questionable for some, but
Yep.
not for others. But in even in a transportation world, like a forklift driver's high turnover position because there's no clarity on what I do. If I'm driving this forklift, I'm going to drive this forklift for 5 years. What happens next? How do you create the incremental opportunities for them to come in as a driver and reward them and show them what their path looks like? As a truck driver, I will always be a truck driver. What are there really isn't a seniority process or I go from a apprentice driver to a journeyman driver to a master driver. There isn't those types of things. However,
Yeah.
that's not
You won't get
excluding
as
you
like a
from,
driver trainer. Like if you become so good, then you're going to be told you have to train.
but that's not excluding organizations from doing that inside their own organization to say, hey, in order to go from 60 cents a mile to 62 cents a mile, or however you're paying your folks, flat rate, mileage, whatever, these are the things we need you to do in order to progress from A to B to C to D and what your career path looks like. And if you decide that, hey, I've got enough driving and I don't want to drive anymore, I'd like to come into the office because family changes, life changes, whatever. What are my opportunities in the office for some of those organizations? Can I be the safety coordinator, driver manager, hiring on board, whatever, part-time and drive part-time? Can I go from that to dispatch? Can I do something else? Can I go out and sell routes? Can I go be a salesperson? What does that all look like? Creates the
Understanding their
opportunity.
long-term goal.
Yeah. Where do they want to go? But too often your industry has been very stagnant, right? This is it. This is the box, and we're always in this box. And you've been throwing a lot of curveballs the last 5 years with all the things.
Yes.
And the uncertainty. And for you, kudos to you. You at least remove some of the uncertainty with the clarity of your communication on the financials and what's happening. It's not a matter of, in fact, the show we just released this past week, hey, there's going to be changes. And then the owners walk away. They don't communicate anything. They tell everybody, oh, things are going to change here. Okay. And nothing ever changes. The old timers just say it's just another thing. The younger folks get worried about it. And now they start telling themselves stories. And as well as I do, drivers have their own chat channels, their own things. And once they start their own storytelling, their stories are fact.
Yeah.
Even though they are based on nothing other than their own perceptions.
That's very true. Because they get stuck in, I mean, I guess, right. Even the example I just gave with the driver coming in was like, well, I can dispatch. You just got to give me $1,000 a day. It's easy. I think you're strongly underestimating what skill level is needed in order to be a successful dispatcher. Like, it is not an easy job. It is simply not an easy job. Told them flat out, so you can come in and shadow. You can shadow. I'm just not paying you to shadow, but you can do it just for your own learning's sake. So,
right.
Yeah, very interesting because right now where everybody's trying to protect the drivers that they have and getting creative doing that. And oftentimes that's money that not all of us have right now in this industry where things are just starting to change over, but we've got a lot of debt from the last 4 or 5 years that need to get paid off.
So what are those high value, no cost or low cost things that you could provide somebody? So as an example, you could provide them a LifeLock account for $10 a month. Right? Because if all of a sudden their identity is stolen, they're going to lose 3, 4, 5 days to be in the truck.
I am literally adding that to my to-do list. So this podcast is working for me.
But for $10 a month, and it's transferable to them if they leave, but they take over the payment. Okay, cool. It's something of value. They may see a perceived value. Some may care, some may not.
Yeah.
But it's a low cost opportunity to bring high value because it's not a matter of if your identity is ever stolen. It's just going to be a matter of when. And when it does take place, they're gone 3 or 4 days.
A scary
Uh,
statement, Brad.
I can't work today because I got to go to the bank and do this. So now they're not putting any money in your pocket because the truck's sitting empty.
Yeah.
Whereas if they have that program, somebody else takes care of it for them. That, what's a day worth in a truck compared to
I actually
$10,
never thought about it. To be honest,
$120 over the course of the year.
when I asked the question, I was thinking like birthday cards and anniversary cards and things like that.
But there are those things as well, which are
little
still
actions of thank
actions
you.
that are there to be part of that, which you do very well. But there may be some other things that different organizations can do. It might be hey, here's the right, because maybe the owner has multiple businesses and they have a different thing. Great. Hey, guess what? We're going to detail your car, hypothetically, or whatever. Or
Hey,
cool,
we're
great.
running this we're going to have a random drawing for the next 30 days to win this, and it's just one prize, but it's an opportunity or something. It doesn't have to be crazy expensive by any means, but you're right. I think those things all help the retention aspect of things.
And a lot of it gets forgotten about because every day is a fire drill in your world.
Yes, very much so. Very much so. All right, switching gears a little bit. One more question. You've worked with a lot of family-owned businesses. Obviously, mine certainly is and was, and probably still is. Yes, for sure. My daughter's around here somewhere. What challenges are unique to family businesses? Because there is a lot of people in this industry who they buy a truck and then they have their wife doing the dispatching, or they have their kid doing the logs, or they have, some version of a family member in their business, some way, shape, or form. So obviously that usually entails also many generations. Maybe dad's in the truck and the kids doing the bookkeeping and the sisters doing this, or whatever the case is. Like, what's some advice that you could give to family dynamics within the industry, especially as you're trying to grow?
So I learned this lesson, and I had to teach this lesson with my youngest son when I was mentoring robotics with him at the high school for the robotics team. And we were there one night late doing different things, and he pulled out he got really snippy with me and stuff, and I pulled him on the side, and I said, okay, would you have done that to any other mentor? Well, no, I wouldn't have done it at all. I'm like, okay, so why did you do it to me? You did that to me because I'm your dad, right? He's like, well, yeah. I said, when I'm here, yes, I'm still your father, but I'm not here as your dad. I am here as a mentor, as a team member of this organization. I'm not here picking on you, my son, because I'm asking you a question that you may take as a personal attack. I'm doing it I'm looking at it from a team perspective. So being able to separate the family from the business so that the family meal, the breakfast, the birthday parties, the weddings, the funerals, the holiday dinners become family time, not, oh, hey, it's Thanksgiving. Let's have our corporate meeting today. Hell to the no. No, we need to separate those things, even though they're not really truly separatable. They need to be separate as much as you possibly can, because when you are a parent and you see your daughter, oh yeah, my daughter works here and she's doing the accounting, and you see her as your daughter in the accounting world, and you see her, you're not giving her the credit for that she's your accountant, your financial planner, your CFO, your whatever. Oh, it's just my daughter in accounting. No, it's not just your daughter. No, it's my CFO. Happens to be your daughter.
Yeah. Anybody has seen a previous episode that I had with Dad on the show, I believe we talked about this, because that's how we got through the first 15 years of working together, because there was also a time period in the 15 years where I had moved back home. So we were living together under the same roof. We were establishing a relationship in terms of an adult relationship. Right now, as an adult, I'm seeing my dad as an adult, not just as my dad type aspect of things. So we're evolving that into more of a friendship, but then also at the end of the day, he's my dad.
Correct.
So we always, and we made a point to actually preference, especially bigger conversations with, hey, I'm coming to you as your daughter. I'm coming
1000%.
to you
That is a
as your
huge way
dispatcher.
to do that.
I'm coming to you as, or I need you to think about this as my boss, or whatever the case. We would actually preference some of those bigger conversations with that. So we understood the parameters. Like, don't talk to me like I'm your daughter right now. I need the boss. Or I don't need my boss right now. I need my dad,
Right.
or I'm venting, like, because oftentimes too, it's venting around the dinner table, which my mother, God rest her soul, would never allow us to do. We were not allowed to talk business at the table. And although it drove dad and I nuts because we would often go to that space naturally, when you're just kind of talking about your day, all of a sudden you go on a tangent and dad can relate. And you start talking about it naturally. And mom would always be like, cut it out, you two. I said, cut it out. Okay, we're done.
Right. But that's it. That's an important boundary to have.
Yes. Looking back,
along the way, right?
100%.
So
I think it really helped us grow together.
So I got a couple clients, family business clients as well. And so the son is running the organization, but dad would call at like 10 o'clock every day.
In the morning or at night?
In the morning, like, hey, and it would be the call of, hey, what's going on? But the son is like, why are you calling me now? What's going on? What's happening? Right? The perception. Well, I just want to find out what's going on and be helpful. I'm like, could you maybe call him at 4:30 if that's the case, unless it's something that really pertinent about what needs to happen today or what's going on with the business or something. Because every time you call them at 10 o'clock, it's convenient for you because you just got done going to the gym or doing whatever.
Yeah.
Because you're only working part-time, but it's not convenient for him. So can we rethink that out so that way your conversation relationship can be better? And every time the phone shows up as dad, I'm not like anxiety ridden as to what could he possibly want now to ruin my day. Let's not do that, right?
Yes. Well, and setting the boundaries, the accountability boundaries, not just as an employer and a boss, but as a friend, as a relative, whatever it is.
And that simple change made the relationship change dramatically because it was like, oh, okay, cool. I just want to know what's going on and be supportive. How's your day going? Don't do it at 10 o'clock in the morning. Yep. Just don't do that then. Do it someplace.
That's why I call my dad on the way home every day.
Right.
Dad,
and now you have more time to do that. See?
45-minute drive. Drives me nuts.
It's a much shorter, it's a much longer call now.
Exactly. Exactly. All right. Last one to wrap it up. I just want you to complete the sentence. Great leaders always. ...
Wow. That is a great
I thought this
question.
was going to be way easier.
No, because I think great leaders always serve.
Ooh, I like that one. I do like that one. I think that's a good point. I really do. I think if you're in it for selfish reasons, it is going to show through in your work and through your people. And if you're there to serve others, whether it's serve the customer or serve your employees, serve people, it does change. It changes the feel of it. I like that. I like that a lot. All right, Brad, if anyone wants to connect with you, learn more about your coaching, which is extremely affordable, and I would strongly recommend that everybody has somebody in their corner when it comes to coaching and being a business owner, how can they get a hold of you?
It's LinkedIn is usually the easiest place to find me and connect with and go forward because there's stuff out there every day for myself personally and for our show, the Blue Collar BS podcast. Otherwise, email is B as in boy, HERDA at focalpointcoaching.com. VFBsolutions.com is my website. You can check out things there as well as we talk about the family relationship and things at that point. And obviously our podcast, there's lots of things to find out and tips and tricks and opportunity at the Blue Collar BS website as well.
Beautiful. Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate you as always. And joining me on this crazy journey of my own podcast. I appreciate it greatly.
It's all good. I thank you very much. I appreciate your time and energy you put into the questions and create some thought through those. And so thank you very much. Usually it's just fluff, and there was no fluff here today, Pam. So thank you.
Well, there you go. I want my listeners in terms of trucking and small trucking companies to get as much out of these conversations as humanly possible, because you've certainly helped me grow and change and see things differently throughout the last several years we've been working together. And that is obviously my goal for my team of people watching to also have that experience. So I appreciate you very much.
Appreciate you.
Tune in next time to Hauling Success. Have a great day, everyone.